Zack Sabre Jr. Will Ospreay right here. I thought Taichi on the commentary table on the Japanese side, nice touch right here for this main event. So this is actually a really good match, and I thought these guys were going to go all out like they did, and they really did, man. And I think this is probably the first time these guys have had a main event in New Japan. Both of these guys wrestling. I think they wrestled in New Japan maybe one other time, but this is the first time these guys have had a main event. So shout out to both of the gentlemen right here. I expected Ospreay to get the win, even though I wanted Zack Sabre Jr. to win because ZSJ fan. But I expected Ospreay to get the win here. He got the victory. He put him away with the Stormbreaker. It was a really good match. Ospreay actually got busted. His nose was bleeding like he was bleeding pretty good, man. It was pretty busted open, man. So we get We get Ospreay advancing to the quarterfinal against Sonata right here, and this is pretty much a damn good match, man. So credit to both of the guys right here, and it kind of protected Zack Sabre Jr. because he got a lot of stuff in. To be 100% honest.
Yeah, protected Zack. I really like this, and the story of the match, sadly, what people will be talking about online will be the nose. It won't be the actual match itself, because that's just how social media works. If something bad happens, it'll be what everyone talks about. The match itself I really enjoyed it. I got really into it. I gave it because I've given every match on the tour a kind of star rating type thing. So I gave Nagata Sonata 2.5, and I gave this 3.5. I thought it was really good. I loved how it started off heel, like heel versus heel, and towards the end, once Ospreay got that blood, he kind of became a babyface. Because the crowd obviously see blood, they feel sympathy, and Ospreay, quick on his feet, was like, right, I can capitalize on it, get a quick pop, off we fucking go, chip cheerio. But yeah, this was a really good stuff. I think the nose came from when Zack did the tilt the world, went to kind of slam Ospreay face first and go to the armbar. He did this tilt the world, and Ospreay went to do a face bump, and number one rule is you twist your fucking head. You don't go face first into the fucking mat. And obviously the speed Zack, like Zack was going at speed, and this is no one's fault. Just he was at speed and landed straight on his nose, and then literally a few seconds later he's just pouring with blood. It was fucking horrible. And I don't even think Ospreay realized until he kind of like rubbed his nose, saw how much fucking blood was on his hands, then kind of just quickly picked him up, and then boom, spot off with pop. But yeah, that's got to be a nose break, man. That's definitely a nose break.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. To see how they work Ospreay in these undercard matches coming up, because he won't have a New Japan Cup match at least for a couple of days. So that will be interesting how they work that. And honestly, too, man, like I'm not mad with Will Ospreay winning, even though I like Zack Sabre Jr. better. But if you just think about how the landscape of New Japan is right now, Zack Sabre Jr. had his New Japan Cup run. It's kind of probably time for Will Ospreay at least have a deep cup run. And even though if you take biases aside in pro wrestling, I'm all about things making sense. And honestly, Will Ospreay winning makes sense here, right? Because he needs this victory more than Zack Sabre Jr. needed the victory. He already has New Japan Cup run. He's already challenged for the heavyweight title. So Zack Sabre Jr. is, for the most part, is an established guy over here in New Japan. So we kind of need to establish Will Ospreay here in the heavyweight division, and beating a guy who actually won the cup a couple years ago is a feather in the cap for Will Ospreay. I thought it was a damn good match right here, and I like the aesthetic post match where he's cutting his promo with the shit over his face with his bleeding. I love that aesthetic. I thought that was pretty cool. So and also too, do you think maybe Will Ospreay should kind of, I don't want to say, because I'm not trying to say I'm not wrestling for anybody, but maybe kind of tone down some of the high flying stuff, because like you said, there was a point in this match, like you said, when the blood happened, he became the baby face. And I don't know if that was what New Japan was really aiming for right here, because post match, you see Taichi coming in the ring pretty much like going, standing like kind of over Zack Sabre Jr., kind of like, giving Zack Sabre Jr. some sympathy. So I'm like, damn, is that what they was really going for? So I'm like, and Ospreay at this point, he's packed on enough muscle, especially in New Japan. He doesn't really have to do this high flying stuff. He has enough impactful moves to where he can tone down the springboard, insert whatever move here. So I just want to know what you thought about that.
Yeah, I thought right at the start, because literally the first move was that running dropkick and then the dive to the outside and then a springboard in. I was like, oh shit, we're going to get an absolute car wreck. Not in a bad way. There is a way to do a car. Like Young Bucks, Matt Jackson and Ray Phoenix on Dynamite, they had a car wreck, but it was great. It made sense and was fucking great.
Fucking drag.
Yeah, literally, like it was really good stuff. But then all of a sudden they kind of stopped. Sabre worked the arm, which Ospreay sold really well. Why is his shoulder bandaged? Does he have a bad shoulder, or is that just selling because it's the New Japan Cup and they always have wrestlers taped up? Like, because
Maybe
go on.
maybe a little bit of both. I feel that's maybe a little selling, but I think there might be still like you're wrestling a couple shows here in a row. You're on a tour, so you're going to get banged up. So I think it's a little bit of both.
Cool, cool, cool. Also, I read about. We'll get back to the match. I didn't read. I heard. I listened to Uncle Davey Boys talk about. Because I listened to his stuff when he talks about the New Japan Cup. Apparently, Okada has not torn, has discs